Long ago, the planet Velaria flourished under the rule of its royal family, protectors of ancient, mystical powers that bound Valeria's people to the elements. Chief among them was the House of Storm, whose lineage held dominion over the skies, rain, and thunder. But peace did not last, for greed, betrayal, and an insatiable thirst for power fractured Valeria's unity. The royal family fell, and with it, Princess Aria, the last of the House of Storm, was exiled. Known as the Fallen Princess, she wandered alone, shunned and forgotten. Years passed, and Velaria crumbled into ruins. And then, as though sensing its weakened state, the Tetherians, an ancient race of alien conquerors, descended from the heavens. These monstrous invaders cared nothing for Valeria's legacy or its broken people. They had come to strip the land bare, and they would crush anyone who stood in their way. Aria felt the tremors of invasion as she traveled alone on the barren outskirts of Velaria. News traveled to her quickly of the Tetherian strength, their fearsome ships that blotted out the sun, and their monstrous machines marching through her homeland's once great cities, leveling them to rubble. The final blow struck her heart when she learned that her former home, the capital of Velaris, lay in ruin. Aria grieved for her people, torn between duty and a life of bitterness and isolation. But a stirring, ancient feeling sparked within her, a sensation she hadn't felt since her exile. Duty, but also destiny. The blood of the House of Storm flowed in her veins, and she knew that the power she had buried inside her was the only force that might yet save Velaria. So she began her journey back to the capital, a journey that was equal parts longing and defiance. As she drew closer, she could feel the tension in the air, the crackling energy of a storm waiting to be unleashed. The skies above were heavy, brimming with dark clouds, as if they too anticipated the moment Aria would return. When she reached Velaris, her heart broke at the sight of it. Buildings shattered, the city in flames, and people, her people, crying for help amid the wreckage. Alien war machines lumbered through the streets, laser cannons firing mercilessly. Valerian civilians ran, helpless against the might of the Tetherians. Aria did not hesitate. She stepped forward into the chaos, and the storm rose with her. The alien soldiers turned their attention to her, the fallen princess who dared to stand against them. One by one, they raised their weapons and aimed. Aria closed her eyes, feeling the thunder in her veins, calling to the lightning as she had been taught as a child. She raised her arms, and the sky split open. A bolt of lightning struck down from above, striking her hands and illuminating her entire body in a blinding aura of blue light. Energy crackled around her, the storm answering her call. As she opened her eyes, she saw fear flash in the eyes of the Tetherian soldiers, and for the first time, she felt the strength she had longed to wield all these years. By the power of Valeria's storm, she cried, her voice echoing through the shattered city, I command you to leave this place or face the wrath of my people. In answer, the Tetherians fired, lasers scorching through the air toward her. But with a flick of her wrists, she summoned the lightning, intercepting the blast midair and sending the energy spiraling back at her enemies. Lightning struck down in furious waves, reducing the machines and soldiers to twisted metal and charred remains. But the Tetherians did not flee. Their commander, a figure wrapped in shimmering black armor, stepped forward, his eyes glowing an unnatural, sickly green. With a wave of his clawed hand, he raised a dark barrier, deflecting the lightning with ease. You dare challenge me, human? He hissed, his voice carrying across the ruined square. I will make you wish for mercy. Aria's eyes narrowed, and she held her ground. This is my world, and I will protect it with every ounce of power I have left. The Tetherian commander charged, his barrier colliding with her magic, casting sparks and shrapnel into the air. Their power clashed in a fury of light and sound, an epic battle that shook the earth beneath them. Each strike pushed her further, testing the limits of her strength, but she refused to falter. Her entire being pulsed with energy, her body becoming a conduit for the storm itself. The Tetherian commander sneered, raising a weapon with a sinister, pulsing core. Aria knew she could not allow him another chance to strike. With a final burst of strength, she drew all her energy inward, her body aglow with an electric blue light, brighter than the sun. With a mighty cry, she hurled herself forward, breaking through the Tetherian commander's shield and unleashing a torrent of lightning that struck him dead on. The alien commander let out a furious, guttural scream as his armor melted and his body crumbled into ash. But the attack had drained her. Aria fell to her knees, panting, her vision blurring as the storm clouds began to dissipate. She felt her power slipping away like sand through her fingers. It was then that she heard them, the voices of her people, rising in a chant. They had seen her fight, had seen their princess, their queen, face the enemy. They rallied around her, picking up whatever weapons they could find, united by her courage. Her lightning had not just brought down the Tetherians, it had reignited hope. Together, Aria and the citizens of Velaria fought back against the remaining alien forces. Though weary, her spirit was bolstered by the determination of her people. The citizens surged forward, reclaiming their city inch by inch, until the last of the Tetherians retreated, their ships disappearing into the dark expanse of space. When the battle ended, Aria stood among her people, battered but victorious. They looked to her with awe and gratitude, the mistrust of old days washed away. The dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. As the people chanted her name, she knew she was no longer the fallen princess. She was Aria, the lightning-born queen, defender of Velaria, and heir to the House of Storm. Her story would live on, a beacon for all who would stand against the darkness. The storm she had summoned was gone, but in the hearts of her people, it would rage forever.